Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We are from group 4, consists of me, Muhammad ARIYANOOR, and my friend. And we want to present about classroom life or classroom discipline principle and preventing problem. And the first presenter will be present by SITI.
Preventing problems consists of first, management as motivation and problem prevention. Second, essential teachers' attitudes, general management principle, cueing and reinforcing appropriate behavior, guiding and holding attention, and the last work. The first one is management as motivation and problem prevention. In management and as motivation and problem prevention, it consists of first behavior, teaching style, design of course, teaching environment, nature of assignment, informal interaction with students, and last appearance. The next is essential teacher's attitude. The first one is demonstrating caring and kind attitude, sharing responsibility, sensitively accepting diversity, fostering individualized instruction, and last, encouraging creativity. The next is general management principle. Consists of establish clear teacher and student roles, articulate unambiguous objectives and goals, be flexible, allow students some choice in activities and exercise, take a personal interest in students, and last, be fair to all students. The next is cueing and reinforcing appropriate behavior. The first one is use positive reinforcement, verbal or non-verbal, interactive, token or activity. Use positive reinforcement to acknowledge and strengthen already existing behavior. Avoid attempting to use reinforcement before the desired behavior has occurred. The next is watch for a tendency to use praise to help a student solve a problem or feel good about himself. Flattery can appear manipulate even to young or needy students. Such messages are superficial at best and will not contribute to the student's genuine sense of self-worth. The next is avoid praising one child or group to motivate others. For the example is, I like the way Bobby is sitting. Only serve to reinforce Bobby. Only one child. The next is avoid using teacher approval as a means of reinforcing desired behavior. Learn to distinguish between reinforcement intended to maintain a particular student behavior and genuine expression of appreciation, affection, or enjoyment of your students. The next is praise reinforcement as a recognition, affirmation, or acknowledgement. The next is to reinforce a desirable behavior. First, describe the behavior that took place. Be specific and concerned and avoid making judgment about the behavior or the mood of the student. And then the next is look for the positive. You can almost always find something to recognize in any performance. Reinforce what was done right and work to correct or improve the rest. And then the last, perhaps because of the rigidity of rules earlier in our history, there was a tendency for teachers to recognize certain behaviors in boys, such as strengths, mechanical skills, and ability in math and science, more frequently than girls, who are more often reinforced for neatness, creativity, attractiveness, and writing and artistic abilities. In recognizing students, be aware of any tendency to promote stereotypes. And then the next material will be explained by Ari.
Okay, thank you. Next is getting and holding attention. First, from the bridge 2015, proposed 10 tricks for capturing students' attention. Those are: first, begin with motivation. Students need to feel motivated to pay attention. Why should they stay interested in the topic? What's in it for them? Although you can realistically motivate 20 or 30 students, right, with an individual instruction during each lesson, you can try to appeal more generally to the things that keep learners alert. For example, by grounding theoretical concepts in real life scenarios and drawing on examples from students' daily routines. And second is keep it multimodal. We all learn more efficiently when information is presented to us in multiple modes. For example, visually, auditorily, kinesthetically, or etc. In the book, Visible Learning and the Science of How We Learn, but when he 14, Hati and yet right, we are all visual learners and we all are auditory learners, not just some of us. Laboratory studies reveal that we all learn when the inputs we experience are multimodal or conveyed to different media. And third is inject the senses. Italian educator Maria Montessori demonstrated how powerful it can be to let children see, touch, hear, smell, or taste what they are learning. She found that when they were provided with material to enhance their sensory perception and teach them practically daily living skills in a child-focused, respectful way, her students appear to revel in the exploration that they avoid concentrating on them for prolonged periods. And fourth is incorporate regular free play. The government of Finland has decided that all grade school students should reserve 15 minutes of free play time during every hour of class. The research supports this method, analyzing higher brain regions following periods of abundant social play in juvenile animals. Gregory and Koffeld found that 1/3 of all the genes they monitored were significantly jolted one way or another by the playful activities. They explain, without a regular diet of fun social engagement, children become hungry for play and begin to act out, potentially disrupting the flow of classroom instructional activities. And the fifth is involve students in lesson plans. The logic behind this one is quite simple. People like to design experiences for themselves and for others. If students have personally contributed to a lesson, they are much more likely to interested to see how it plays out. And sixth is target students proximal zone of development. It's a bit like Goldilocks and the three bears. If metaverse is too hard, attention wanders. If it's too see, attention wanders. Shooting right in the middle, within what Vygotsky called students' proximal zone of development, maximizes the odds they will stay interested and alert. And 7 is make them laugh. Nothing wins attention like a good joke. Students listen to teachers who know how to incorporate humor into their material. Joke about yourself, the weather, the irony of the concepts, or anything can work. And 8 is incorporate the unexpected. Educator and psychologist Annie Murphy Paul says it's a good rule of thumb to shake things up every 15 minutes or so during class. Whether it's to crack a joke, tell a story, show pictures, or explain your topic using a different medium. Human beings quickly become habituated to the status quo, she says. When something in our environment shifts, whether we start paying attention again. And next is NINT, make ideas concrete and relevant. The human mind can't handle too much abstraction. Kata Paul. Bring your ideas down to earth by explaining how they connect to your listeners' life. And by embedding sensory details, what things look, sound, feel and taste like into your account. And the last is capture ideas in a narrative. Researchers who study human cognition say that stories are psychologically privileged. Paul says, our mind treats them differently than other kinds of information. We understand them better, remember them more accurately, and we find them more engaging to listen to in the first place. And planning your presentation, think about how to capture your ideas in a narrative. And then next is seat work. Seat work serves an important management function in that it allows teachers to focus their attention on group or individual children with varying needs and abilities. The procedure for seat works, those are talk among students, obtaining help, out of seat procedures, and when seat work has been completed. And the first is talk among students. Students are not permitted to talk during seat work activities. Students are required to complete their individual seat work on their own. Students should neither seek nor provide help to other students and refrain from social conversation. However, during specified activities, quiet talking is allowed, but its noise levels rise about a low volume, normal tone, the privilege will be lost. And next is obtaining help. When seat work begins, the teacher will circulate around the students, checking progress and giving individual feedback and or instructions to students. Afterwards, the teacher will sit at her desk where she can monitor the student while she helps individuals or small groups. Students should raise their hand for help while the teacher circulates the room or for permission to go up to the teacher's desk for assistance. And next is out of seat procedures. Students are permitted to get out of their seats one at a time to get supplies or turn in paper when necessary without permission. Students are not allowed to pencil with the public servants during sit work. If students need to sharpen their pencil, they may sharpen them with their individual sharpeners at their desk. Trash should be kept at student desk and discarded in the end of the period. Next is the last when shift work has been completed. Sometimes students may finish their work before the next activity begins. When this occurs, the students may choose one of two options: complete an enrichment assignment for extra credit or assist other students who are struggling with the task. When given permission for the teacher, whichever of the choices chosen, students may then go to the supply closet or book shelf to get the necessary materials to complete their task. If students finish their last assignment of the day before the period ends, students may choose to cash in their computer coins, complete an extra credit assignment, or work on an assignment due for another class. However, a student may not at any time in the period distract or disturb other students as they complete their activity. That's all our presentation. If you have any question, raise your hand and go to the front of the class.
Okay, my name is Anindya. I'm from group 6. I want to ask in sit work slide. My question is, give me example about talk among students. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Nanda Safitri from Group 6. I want to ask question in management as motivation and problem prevention. You said the teaching style, and I want to ask what is teaching style. Can you explain more about teaching style? Thank you.
I want to answer the hand questions about give example about talk among students. In the talk among students, we just control students not to cheat, only doing individual tasks, and we only supervise students not to cheat in class, and this is the way we make the student not to cheat in the class, like rebuke them to not to cheat. For example, that's all my questions. Is it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I will answer Nanda's question.
I want to answer the hand questions about give example about talk among students. In the talk among students, we just control students not to cheat, only doing individual tasks, and we only supervise students not to cheat in class, and this is the way we make the student not to cheat in the class, like rebuke them to not to cheat. For example, that's all my questions. Is it?
Okay, I will answer Nanda's question. The question is, can you explain more about teaching style? Teaching style refers to the teaching strategies and methods. It is or considered to be the general principle, educational and management strategies for classroom interaction. The example of teaching style is, the first is the authority method, and then the demonstrator method, and then the last Yes, the facilitator staff. That's all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all our presentations about classroom management, about classroom disciplines, principles, and preventing problem. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.